age or about their size. You're average, so you're gonna get that average girl who's maybe overweight and she might have a kid because you're average, so you're gonna get average. So that's that. Hello, it is your girl Fleurette and I'm back with another video. Today we're gonna talk about alpha male frauds. Okay, there's so many in the space, especially in the past 12 months. This alpha male high value whole thing has become a really big thing now, that everybody thinks they're alpha and high value just because they were born male. And today we're going to talk about it. So let's delve in. Okay, so today, I mean, I'm not trying to call anyone out, but I'm just going to talk about what's going on right now in the YouTube sphere. And that is the fraudulent behavior of certain podcasters and whatnot. And this is not to call them out in particular, because that's not really what I'm doing, but this is just to highlight the fraudulent behavior that's going on in this space, and to also highlight the so-called high value myth. And not only that, to also call out the delusion of men, because a lot of men like to talk about how delusional women are, and how a woman that's an average 5 or 4 on a good day, and she's thinking she's gonna get a 6'3", 6-7 figure earner guy who's an athletic built type of guy, and she's delusional to think that, so she should just aim for an average guy. So today we're going to talk about those average guys who think they are high value just because they are men. Okay, let's talk about that. So recently, you know, in the past like week and a half, coming up to 2 weeks now, there's been a whole lot of palaver because Abba and Preach, who are really big on the YouTube space, kind of had a little tiff with another couple of YouTubers, and they were going back and forth kind of thing, and insults were hurled, and it was very unnecessary, and it was very, like, it started to look like children making fun of each other in the playground, high school kind of thing, more like actually elementary school kind of thing. It was really becoming really stupid. So, you know, things were being hurled back and forth. So people started digging up on these two YouTubers, right? They started digging up on their stuff and finding out certain things about them. Come to find out, you know, they sell a course on how to find females or how to get a woman. And then come to find out, they're over here begging for P in people's DMs, okay? They are over here on dating sites, and not even dating sites, it's like seeking arrangement sites whereby you are literally paying for P, okay? But you're selling courses to young men, telling them how they can be high value and how they can attain a bunch of women. So it's a whole lot of fraudulent behavior. You know, one of the things that I keep hearing in these spaces, because I like to pay attention to what men are saying, because I like to be involved in men's conversation, because it is different from women's conversation. And to be honest with you, men's conversations tend to be a bit more interesting for me. But one of the things I always hear in a lot of these male spaces and their conversations and whatnot, you know, they talk about the delusion of women, and women are not the prize. I've heard men say this all the time. But, you know, now we're finding out these two big YouTubers are over here begging for the cootie cat, okay, paying for the cootie cat, okay, teaching men how to get a woman, which is a W, you know. So it's like, if women aren't the prize, why is getting a woman to sleep with you a win? Like, then that makes the woman a prize. Anyways, I mean, that's one of the contradictions anyways. There's one particular fella that obviously he's getting a lot of heat right now because he said a couple things and people are pulling up receipts, and it's like, your receipts ain't matching the items that you said you have, sir. Okay, you say you're high value, but according to this information on your LinkedIn, it says that you were working as a customer rep for Wix just in 2020 December. So I don't understand how all of a sudden you're this top CEO in like 8 months or something like that. It don't make sense, sweetheart, okay? And there's a whole bunch of stuff. There's videos of him coming out, and people are counting him, and I don't think that's necessarily good. But I think it's relevant. The reason why I think it's relevant in these spaces is because there's a lot of men, especially young guys, who are being influenced, who are having batteries put in their backs about women and how to interact with women, and think that they can approach a woman anyhow, that you can go up to a woman and be ultra aggressive and that's supposed to be alpha. You can go up to a woman and be super disrespectful and that's supposed to be alpha, high value. Okay, and then they use some of the teachings of like Kevin Samuels and what he says and things like that, and they use it out of context to think that they are somehow just like better in every way, in every shape, form than a woman, and that a woman is just whatever, you know. I've come across this several times, even in some of like Kevin Samuel's spaces, you know, like I watch some of his videos when he does say things that I'm like, yeah, you know what, I've heard elders say that in my family as well. I've heard my mom say it. I've heard some other people say certain things that he says, you know. So I find some of his stuff to be true. It's a bitter pill, but it is a pill that is necessary. But one thing I started to notice in Kevin Samuel's spaces as well, in the comments and whatnot, when he talks about women being average and she's average so she should get an average man, is that you would then see the most average guy in the comments talking crap about the average woman that he's talking about. You know, oh yeah, she's average, she thinks she's this, she thinks she's that, she needs to... It's like, sir, this average woman that he's talking about, that he's calling a 4 or 5 on a good day, and she should go for an average man. The average man that he's talking about is you in the comments. You know, I've come across comments on Kevin Samuel's Facebook whereby this man was commenting on this lady who, well, Kevin put a picture of this lady out saying, you know, she's single, he's trying to match her up with somebody. And then this guy made a comment on this lady's picture and basically said, oh, she's got a tattoo on her ankle, so you already know she's low value, and he just started to break her down, being really, really unnecessary. Okay, I went on this guy's picture on his Facebook. He was like 300 pounds. He was married, and he worked at the post office. Okay, no shade to anybody that works at the post office. It's necessary. Okay, but first of all, if you're married and you put it on your Facebook who you're married to, why are you in single people's spaces? Why are you talking to a dating coach? Why are you in these spaces and you're married? Because Kevin Samuels ain't dealing with married people. He's dealing with single people. So why are you in single people's spaces? That's one. This man had the audacity to try and talk about this woman because she had a tattoo on her ankle, but he was like 300 pounds. Then people were going at him like, what are you talking about? Like, don't try and put her down because she's got a tattoo on her ankle. And you work at the post office, but you think you're high value just because you're a man. But this is the delusion that's happening right now, where young men or even older men, whereby they start to think that just because I'm a man, I'm now high value. But it's like, if you believe the teachings of Kevin Samuels, you need to understand that it's more than just you being male that makes you high value. And you need to be watching what you're listening to and whose information you're taking in. Because with this whole Abraham Preach and these other two podcasters or YouTubers that has come out, it's come out like this is hella fraudulent behavior. You claim to be this man who gets all these girls, but come to find out half the girls you're getting are girls you have to pay for. Like, if you got game, you don't need to be paying for stuff, right? You got so much game, every woman wants you, and because there are more women in the world than high value men, so therefore you are a commodity, you are something that is desirable, that is necessary. Why are you begging for pee in people's DMs? But this is the kind of space that now has become like this fraudulent behavior, these fraudulent alpha males, whereby they think that to demean a woman is to get a woman. Okay, and you can always tell a man who doesn't get women, okay, because one of them podcasters, you could tell he don't get chicks, okay. I'm not trying to be rude or nothing, but let's call a thing a thing. Because if Kevin Samuels can go around calling everybody average at best, you look average at best, he's hella average. In fact, he's below average. He's below average height. He's below average on a whole bunch of stuff. Like, no shade, but let's be frank, okay. And even when you watch his podcast and you listen to what he's saying, it's like, I know 90% of what you're saying is a bunch of BS. Okay, you meeting up with some NBA player at some bar and this, it's like, that doesn't happen in real life. That happens in the fantasies of like a 5-year-old boy. Okay, that doesn't make sense. And a lot of these men are now on this YouTube space, are now on these podcast spaces, whereby they're putting batteries in young men's back and basically telling them, this is how you get a woman, this is what you do. And they know it doesn't work, but they're taking your money and selling you courses. Alpha fraud behavior. These are the same guys that will tell you that when you're 60 years old, you can still date a 25-year-old. And it's like, really? How many 60-year-olds do you see dating a 25-year-old? And I'm talking about an average 60-year-old. I'm not talking about Brad Pitt 60-year-old. I'm talking about the average 60-year-old who was a math teacher for 35 years. How many of them do you see dating a 25-year-old woman who's a 9 or a 10? How many of them? Because you get this. They be like, oh, men don't age like women, and men age slower than women, and men this, and a man can still get a young girl. You could be 50 years old and get a 25-year-old. How many 25-year-olds you see dating a 50-year-old who isn't a millionaire? Because let's be frank, if you're a millionaire as a man, you could date anyone. Shit, you could resurrect the dead and date them. You understand? Like, if you're a millionaire, you could date anyone. You could date a married woman. Let's be frank, okay? But this is the delusion of men. The delusion of men that is now happening, especially with young men, whereby they think being alpha is being super, super aggressive, being rude, being disrespectful, and you thinking a woman's going to tolerate that. But understand that also, if you want a woman that's a 9 or a 10 and you're disrespectful and you're rude, she's got options. So why the hell would she deal with you? Especially if you're not a 6-7 figure earner guy, why would she take your disrespect? Because you're an average guy yourself. With an average job, average salary, you live an average life. So if she's a 9 or a 10, why would she want to be with a man who's average and disrespectful instead of being with a man who's above average, even if he's disrespectful? Hey, I'd rather cry in a Lamborghini than a Ford Focus. I'd rather be mad on a private jet than in economy class. Right? But there's a lot of delusion going on in this space when it comes to this fraudulent alpha males, you know, and some of the stuff that I've watched and I've listened to as well is absolute degrading. You know, I've heard a particular YouTuber on here as well, and he's super big with this whole alpha male stuff, and there was a video where he talked about how when he wants to degrade a woman or to lower her spirit, he makes her do certain sexual favors to him. Okay, I'm talking about backdoor entrance type things. Okay, and he said this in a YouTube video, and I remember sitting there going, what the hell? Like, you want to lower a woman so you make her perform osculum inflamme? If you know what that is, Google it. Osculum inflamme. Like, what? This is what these so-called alpha males, I'm super manly and this and that, but you're making women do what to your backside? Listen, all I'm saying is this to the females out there. Beware of the fraudulent alphas. A lot of women are attracted to alpha men. You know, you want that sort of like manly guy who seems almost heroic, almost like he can save you, you know, like that's the kind of men most straight women are attracted to. But understand there's fraudulent behavior out here, honey. Just like you could buy a Louis Vuitton purse in Chinatown, honey, there's fakes out here and they look good, they look just like the real ones, but you need to really vet them out. There's fraudulent alpha males out here who think that being disrespectful means you are alpha, who thinks that being super aggressive and sexually aggressive towards a woman, it means you are alpha. Like, all of that stuff is so ridiculous. You literally are on your way to getting some type of harassment case against you if you continue with that sort of behavior. But you need to be mindful of these fakes and frauds out here who are renting Lamborghinis and taking pictures and pretending to be millionaires, who are pretending to be you know, sleeping with over 1,000 women. It's like, have you met 1,000 women? Like, do you look like you've, like, some of these guys, really look at them. Like, does he look like he's met 1,000 women in his entire life who are not related to him, or he didn't, or aren't members of his church? Like, be real, okay? Vet some of these guys out. There's so many fake alpha males out here, alpha frauds. That's what I call them, okay? Because real deep down, you're a simp, but you look like you're alpha, or you try to behave like you're alpha. Vet these guys out. Okay, and don't let anybody make you feel some kind of way because he thinks he's alpha. So being disrespectful makes him feel good about himself. Putting someone down to make yourself feel alpha or look alpha doesn't make you alpha. It just makes you look really, really silly. It makes you look really immature. Okay, a lot of alpha frauds out here. So beware, sisters. Okay, vet these alpha frauds out here. Okay, because most of them ain't six-figure earners anyways, but they want to talk about the delusion of women. Excuse me, sir, you still live at home with your mom, sir. Okay, excuse me, sir, you haven't finished your education. Excuse me, sir, you are not at the top of your career ladder. Okay, excuse me, sir, for when, if only 2% or 10% of the population are ever going to earn six figures, most of you aren't going to earn six figures. So why are you out here dissing women about their age or about their size? You're average, so you're going to get that average girl who's maybe overweight and she might have a kid because you're average, so you're going to get average. So that's that. Anyways, so my message to any women out there is vet these fake fraud alpha males out here who are pretending to be such high value men because they have something in between their legs. Okay, vet them out. Okay, I can smell a simp from a mile, and most of these guys on YouTube that like to talk a tough game are simping hardcore. But anyways, so thank you for watching my video, and make sure to tune in next week. Actually, no, make sure to tune in on Thursday where there will be another video. So videos are here every Mondays and Thursdays, and make sure to subscribe, like, and share this video with your friends and whoever. All the alpha males that you know, share this video with them. They need to hear it. Okay, peace.